Hello beautiful people, it's Mai here from Nintendo Life, and today we're reviewing Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition on the Nintendo Switch 2. This review was originally written by the wonderful Ken Talbot and made into a video by yours truly. Now without further ado, get those Pipboys on and let's get stuck in. When Skyrim featured in the Switch reveal trailer back in 2016, it was a statement of intent for the system. This was a big title in the sense of the word, and for the first time, Nintendo-only console owners could step into a Bethesda RPG and take it on the go too. Sure, it was yet another version of a terminally re-released game, but it was also a key selling point for the Switch. Fallout, the post-apocalyptic sister series to Elder Scrolls, has never had a mainline entry on Nintendo hardware. Aside from the vault management sim Fallout Shelter back in 2018, Nintendo players have largely missed out. That makes the release of Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition on Switch 2 worth a real fanfare. The second season of the TV show has rekindled interest in the franchise, and alongside rumours of remastered of Fallout 3 and New Vegas, now feels like a perfect time to strap on the big iron and go for a wander. Much like its fantasy counterpart, Fallout presents a huge open world that is easy to get lost in. It is packed with hundreds of quests, branching narratives, and NPCs driven by dynamic AI. The result is a living, breathing, and frequently broken world, but there's more on that later. Set in the irradiated wasteland of the Commonwealth, Boston, and its surrounding areas, Fallout 4 offers a standalone adventure within the franchise's broader timeline. Your created character is torn from their idyllic suburban life when the atomic war breaks out, forcing them to seek refuge in one of the many corporate-built vaults. Awakened from their cryogenic slumber, they witness the murder of their partner and the kidnapping of their infant son. Emerging into a world of mutated monsters and fractured tribal societies, they begin a desperate search to find their child. You take on this new frontier using a combination of stealth, melee, and firearm skills, shaping your character through a versatile upgrade system. Combat leans heavily in the series' stylistic calling card, the slow-mo combat system VATS. Like previous entries, the main quest is merely a jumping-off point for the wider mountain of tasks and diversions your Wastelander will undertake. Along the way, you encounter different factions trying to survive and shape this crumbling world. Some, like the totalitarian Brotherhood of Steel, pursue domination through fascist ideology. Others, like the Clandestine Institute, seek to rebuild civilization through science. You're free to pursue any of these groups up to a point, each faction quest line leading to a late-game decision that will fundamentally change the main story's conclusion. Alternatively, you can just do whatever you want. The Wasteland is a gigantic sandbox, and there are no restrictions on your exploration. It's often the case that Bethesda Fallout titles carry their best content in ignorable side quests, and that is certainly true here. Starting strong with some great set pieces, your mission to find Sean is ultimately shallow and convoluted. The best things to do in the Commonwealth happen off this beaten narrative path. Unlocking the mysteries of Cabot House or reliving the adventures of Silver Shroud are clear highlights among many. Elsewhere, there are one-off encounters and a wealth of locations to plunder. These moments capture Fallout at its most creative and memorable. Then there's the biggest diversion that Fallout brought to the franchise. Settlements. Early in your travels, you will meet Preston Garvey and his Minutemen, who guide you through making makeshift homes for wasteland survivors. Think of it like a post-apocalyptic Animal Crossing, except you have to defend your villagers from bandits high on jet and psycho. Like most aspects of Fallout 4, this surprisingly deep base building can be largely ignored. It's a love it or hate it time sink, so feel free to skip right over it or alternatively spend hundreds of hours rebuilding civilization in your own image. This toolset is further expanded by the numerous workshop bundles included in the Anniversary Edition. This bumper all-in-one package is also bolstered by shorter quest lines like Nuka World and Ultimatron, the latter of which introduces customizable robot companions. The main course of extra content is the excellent Far Harbor. Here you join synth companion Nick Valentine on an expedition to the titular island. This expansion features new quests, enemies, and compelling faction storylines. So Fallout 4 is a game that's constantly giving, bursting at the seams with content and endlessly replayable thanks to a deep upgrade system and multiple routes throughout the story. But content is one thing, experience is another. This is a Bethesda RPG and Switch port. The proof will ultimately be in its optimization Edition. There are 3 performance modes to choose from in the main menu: 30, 40, and 60 FPS, offer quality, balanced, and performance options respectively. Given this game is a couple of generations old and has been optimized for the current platforms, all of these modes are pleasingly stable from a visual standpoint. Higher frame rate modes add softer edges to textures, which mar the fidelity of long-distance vistas somewhat. There is also the occasional frame dip in busier scenes on any mode, but these issues are rare across a long playthrough. Ken chose to play mostly in 40 FPS as it removed that texture smoothing and maintained stable frames, but it is worth noting that an announced update will add DLSS to 40 and 60 FPS modes alongside some stability fixes. Far more pronounced than the occasional frame hiccup is the rich suite of bugs and technical issues carried over from previous incarnations of the games. Unfortunately, the Switch 2 version does not make any effort to iron out these kinks. We spent most of our playthrough dealing with a bug that completely disabled sprint, another reminder to always be saving people. This certainly isn't a fun issue to have when you have alpha deathclaws snapping at your back. We also suffered multiple audio issues, scripting glitches, and good old-fashioned crashes. Much like the performance fluctuations, these bugs become diluted over a long enough period. They'll frustrate every time they occur, though. It's customary for Bethesda titles to arrive on a new platform with an existing suite of issues still intact, of course. It's just a shame that Fallout's first appearance on a Nintendo console is blighted by a less than optimal experience. Further disappointment comes from the complete lack of Switch 2 system features such as gyro or mouse controls. Mouse control in particular feels egregious, especially considering how comfortably the series plays on PC. On a personal note, it also would have been particularly handy to have whilst working through settlements. In spite of its issues, Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition remains a key title for the console. It's a hugely generous package that looks great, and much like Skyrim before it, it's very enjoyable to play undocked. It's Fallout on Switch 2, for goodness sakes. A great experience overflowing with content and featuring some of the best quests in the series, and a mostly great visual optimization that tests patience with more bugs than a bloatfly nest. If you can endure its many technical shortcomings, there are hundreds of hours of solid RPG here. We here at Nintendo Life give Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition on the Nintendo Switch 2 a 7 out of 10. So I suppose it's time for my thoughts. So I have a very long history with Fallout 4. I've been playing Fallout 4 for, well, about a decade. I worked the midnight launch back when I was working at games, so I was able to get my hands on my Pip-Boy straight away. I've been playing Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas for even longer, and I've even dabbled with some of the PC games, the ones that weren't originally made by Bethesda. So needless to say, I've been begging for Fallout 4 on the Nintendo Switch since I got my grubby hands on the console. I've been itching to be able to play it in bed, and I know you can play it on a Steam Deck, but I don't have a Steam Deck. Fallout 4 itself is one of my comfort games. I'd always play it whenever I'd be feeling a bit meh, or even just if I just was sick of other games. But my experience so far with Fallout 4 is both amazing on Switch, but also kind of disappointing. There is a possibility of loving a franchise, loving a game, and still having some constructive criticism for it. I suppose the first thing I should probably talk about is the graphics. I was really pleased to see that there's 60 FPS. However, when I first loaded the game up, I sincerely thought there was something wrong either with my screen or wrong with my eyes. I played it docked the first time because I had to capture footage for the gameplay video. But yeah, as soon as I got out of the vault, I was like, why is it so blurry? Have I, what's going on? It was very weird. I thought it was a bug because I've had a bug like this before when I played Cyberpunk way back in the day. Everything was all weird and glowy, and I thought maybe it was to do with that. But no, it's just the 60 FPS being all weird and glowy. I don't know why. And it was even worse when I was playing it handheld. I actually had to change the FPS when I was playing it handheld. I did capture some 30 FPS for this video, which you probably see on screen now in comparison to the 60 FPS. I'm not showing 40 because you can't capture that. I didn't really play in 60 handheld because it felt like I had to be wearing glasses, which I don't need. It was frustrating to say the least. I also completely forgot how slow this game is to begin with. I, for the sake of the video, had to kind of speed run quite a bit just so I could be able to get to Far Harbor to show you all the footage. The way that I would usually play this game is I would take my time, I would completely hoard and pick up every item I'd find and then dump all of it onto my companion, all my companions, and kind of go back and forth between Sanctuary Hills and just leave all my stuff there. But I guess I digress. I absolutely love this series, and I was very disappointed when it just kept crashing. I think it crashed about 4 times throughout my playthrough. I am very, very disappointed, purely because this game was out on the PS4. When I first played it, the day one I played it, it did have bugs. Like, I was running around at one point and there wasn't a weapon in my hand when clearly there was, so it looked like I had a ghost gun. It would crash. It still crashes from time to time on PS4, but it shouldn't be doing that on Switch 2 when it's the first time it's being on the console. I understand that it's new hardware. I understand that it's completely different to playing it on PS4, on Xbox One, on PC, what have you. But Bethesda, why didn't you optimize the game? Why didn't you have it purely, like, properly running on the Switch 2, ready for this? As a whole, I didn't have a crazy amount of issues aside from this crashing and the music not finishing the songs and just kind of skipping ahead. And yes, it does look a lot nicer than it was in the trailer, but still, I'm not amazingly impressed. Which is a real shame because I've been really looking forward to this, playing this on the Switch too, and I was hoping that it would impress me a lot more than it has. Yeah, I'm just disappointed. But also, I'm not surprised because it's Bethesda and they always have bugs in their games and it's always janky as anything. However, on a lighter note, I did have a lot of fun revisiting this classic and revisiting my one of my favorite games. I absolutely love being able to run around the wasteland, killing ghouls, killing anything in my path. And this is one of the few games that I managed to kind of overcome my scaredy catness. Now I kind of go in and just go in blazing and shoot things. So I know that I'm not a scaredy cat deep down. I could probably sink 100 more hours into this game and still not be bored. And I'm not even talking about the DLC. The DLC is fantastic. Everyone talks about Far Harbor, but for me, I absolutely adore Nuka World. I just hope that for those of you who have never been able to play Fallout, any of the games, that this first experience doesn't taint it with the bugs. It is a really fantastic story. The soundtrack is fantastic, and obviously because of the video, I can't play Diamond City whenever I'm recording. However, when you're playing, please put Diamond City radio on. It's got some fantastic tunes. The radio presenter is just so neurotic. I love him to bits. It's just a really weird game. It's weird and wonderful and very comforting. Revisiting this also reminded me of some really wonderful moments in the game and some really fantastic dialogue. My feelings for the game haven't changed. I still love it, but I just wish the Switch 2 port was a little bit better.